All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
That is got to be one of the best quotes I think we've ever used to start off the show today. Well, not start, it's the title of the show. So, of course, we're going to start off with what the title of the show is. It was literally made up. Now, because, right, Justin, we hate teases. I hate teases. It's part of the business. Stay tuned. We'll tell you what it means in another 20 minutes after you listen to the show for 20 minutes, and then we'll tease something else later on. No, I'll tell you what it is. It is Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche on Sean Hannity's podcast talking about the Russia hoax. Folks, this ties into that tweet I sent out that I thought was pretty clear. Apparently it wasn't. The tweet that rocked the Twitter world when I was back at the FBI. I needed that on the record. Remember the tweet I put out that I was shocked to my core, and I sent it on a Friday night. I've told the story a few times. It all ties into what you're about to hear by Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, who was on Hannity's podcast last week. I don't think people fully have grasped the level of the scandal the whole Russia thing was. Forget about there not being a there. There was no there for the there at all. It's not like there was a little thing that they made a big thing. There was no thing they made into a big thing. I got that. Big news weekend. I'm going to cover what's happening in New Jersey and why this is a disaster for the Democrats. Listen, it doesn't matter. They're not here for political advice. I'm just telling you, what's happening at the ICE facility in New Jersey is an absolute disaster for the Democrats. And the fact that they have not already just shut this thing down speaks to the political stupidity and malpractice about what they're doing. And I'm going to show you the receipts to back it up. But we're going to start out the show with a little bit of humor because I had a bit of a rough weekend. Was at an event this weekend. I had to travel. It was not a good one. I don't need to get into the details, but it was very depressing. It was hard to take. So I need a little Monday morning pick me up. I was going to put this thing at the end, but I'm going to put it at the beginning. So stay tuned. We're going to start Monday with a smile, and I promise you're going to love it. Hat tip producer Jim, who put this together. It's just brilliant stuff. This is all-star stuff. Hey, vacation plans are great, but getting sick away from home, not so much. Be prepared before you leave. Before your next trip, visit allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino. Get some travel meds, get some medications you may need. Use code Bongino10. Prescription provided if appropriate. Thanks, All Family Pharmacy. Today's show also brought to you by, came home this weekend, and what was sitting at my door? A big old box of Omaha steaks. Now, I know Guy's because he can't raid the fridge anymore. They could be sitting at your door, Justin, but they're not. I'm sorry. I'm in a giving mood, just not with my Omaha steaks, because we're going to be grilling this weekend, so I need them. Thank you, Omaha Steaks. Summer's almost here. Means warmer temperatures, trips to the pool, grilling out in the backyard. Of course, Father's Day on June 21st. Let's be honest. Dad doesn't want another tire watch. You want to get him some Omaha Steaks. He wants a tender, juicy taste of his favorite steak grilled to perfection. There's no better gift. That's why meat from Omaha Steaks is such a great Father's Day gift. In my house, grilling is serious business. Not a joke. Not a joke, man. This year, surprise your dad with a premium Omaha Steaks package because it just makes the whole day feel special and effortless, and you get to eat the steaks too, so it's a win-win. Omaha Steaks delivers premium meats for premium dads. Every steak is flash frozen and vacuum sealed at peak freshness, so it tastes incredible whenever it hits the grill. Plus, having high-quality steaks on hand is just convenient for any summer cookout. This Father's Day, give the dads in your life something to savor. World-famous Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com. Do not wait. Get an extra $35 off with promo code Bongino at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code Bongino at checkout. Terms apply. See omahasteaks.com for details. All right, let's go. They're all bitter now. I can see it. Guy's already got a puss on his face. Get some Omaha steak. All right. Bring you some Omaha steak. I'm sorry. I should not, you're right. Folks in the chat, I should not be a hoarder. It's rude. Guy used to just go down and raid the fridge himself. I understand. Jasmine's like, what about me? Okay, I got you. Tranquilo. So it is Monday. It's the summer. I was going to put this at the end of the show, but producer Jim sent me this freaking banger last night. I kind of fell asleep upstairs watching a movie. It was terrible. So I come downstairs. I go to bed at like 7 o'clock at night because I'm an old man, but it was 9, so it was late for me. You're like 9? Yeah, it was late. I come downstairs and I see a message on my phone. It's a text from producer Jim. I'm like, what the hell is this? I didn't even see it because I'm like blind as a bat now, and I refuse to get glasses or contacts. So I do see a play button on it. So I thought it was a hate voicemail that someone had sent this, but it wasn't. So first I said to the guys, you got to pull the context of this thing Jim sent me. Do you remember this Jill Biden clip? Jill, Jill, when she's talking about Joe Biden's horrendous, I'm sorry, guys, respect, Dr. Jill Biden, famous neurosurgeon. She was talking about Joe Biden's awful debate performance, but it was like the essence of Joe Biden. And I thought, yeah, I got the essence. The essence is like cognitive decline, but whatever. So check this out for context. Play the cut.
Did you ever see signs that he was falling into cognitive decline?
No.
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 Truly.
No.
I mean, people were saying he wasn't the same Joe Biden.
Well, I don't think that's true. He was the essence of the same Joe Biden.
The essence of Joe Biden. Sounds so romantic. So I hit play on my phone last night, not knowing what I was getting into, having no idea. I thought it may have been an emergency message. Justin's not coming into work tomorrow, whatever. Some hate mail we get or something like that. Maybe a death threat. That's not what it was. It was producer Jim's banger of an ad for apparently a new product, a cologne, a scent, if you would, called The Essence of Joe Biden.
You're ready for that special night, and you want to make sure you hit just the right mood. You need
The essence of Joe Biden.
nothing will strike the right chord better than that smell of tapioca, mothballs, and sauerkraut. Better than
The essence of Joe Biden.
So if you're ready to move in and sniff that special someone, causing major cringe and discomfort as you invade their space, make sure you have
The essence of Joe Biden.
available at your local convenience store right next to the Christmas tree car deodorizers.
Thank you, producer Jim, for your amazing 5-star work. If someone wants to nominate that for one of those Academy Awards or maybe a Razzie, that'd be kind of funny, right? That's going to be on Rumble Shorts, too. If our social media people, Jason, if you don't put that up, everybody's fired for political malpractice. Look at the chat. Only the Dan Bongino Show with its 9 minutes in and close to 40,000 people. We've already filled a baseball stadium, Muttley's everywhere. That get you going on a Monday? Fellas, good call, right? I was going to put it at the end, but everybody should smile a little bit before we get into the serious stuff. Thank you, producer Jim. All right, back to the stuff that's really going to, humor changed the world too a little bit. We need to smile, but this is the serious stuff. So that chat is still... Sorry, you got to get that out of me. Essence. That's what I heard at 9 o'clock last night. I said, Jim, this is some rock star stuff right here. Do you guys remember that tweet or X post? Same thing. But I put up, I was at the FBI, and I've said this story before, so I don't want to give the long extended version. However, not everybody listens to the show. I mean, we have a good audience, but it's not the entire United States. You have no idea how many times I'm out in public. None. And people will say to me, hey, Dan, what was that X post you put up when you were at the FBI in your FBI account about being shocked to your core and what you saw? What is that about? Nicely done, Jim Verdi. Yeah, of course. Thanks, Jim. It was. By Jim Verdi. Folks, I was sitting in the office at the FBI headquarters building, JEH, the Hoover building. And it was a Friday night, and always me or Cash, one of us had to be in town, be in what they call the NCR, National Capital Region, in case something goes wrong. So, I'd be out of town one weekend, maybe on a field office visit. I was in Phoenix, LA, all over. And he'd be out of town the next week. And we tried to split up because the FBI is a global organization. It's not just in headquarters. So Cash would go to the Albuquerque office one week. And we would, it would be tilted, like one weekend him, one weekend me. So I had the NCR duty that week, and I was in the National Capital Region, and Paula couldn't come visit me in D.C. from Florida, so I was all by myself. So I had stayed really late in the office on Friday. Guy comes running in, hair on fire. You got to see what we found. I said, what did we find? What did we find? It was a Russia hoax Spygate document that I had not seen before. I had to read it in the office. Obviously, couldn't take it home given the classification, and because of the classification, I have to be careful what I say. Because there's an ongoing investigation. I know, I get it. We got nothing is happening, people. Nothing is happening. You're just going to look like dumbasses. Please, folks, screen record this. You're all going to look like dumb asses because you don't know anything. You don't know what's happening. Just acknowledge you're making it up, that you have no idea, okay? So that being on the record, I'm absolutely confident what's happening and what's not because I was there when it was happening. Was involved in a lot of it. So you don't tell me what's happening and what's not. You sound like an asshole, okay? So leaving that aside, acting Attorney General, who at the time I was there was the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, was on Sean Hannity's podcast. And Sean had asked him about the post I made. And he basically confirmed what I said was right, that the documents were shocking. For the leftists and the media people listening out there now, the fact that you have yet to apologize for the entire Russia hoax is candidly stunning. It's your whole theory out there now, and listen to me, folks, that the war on Donald Trump and the weaponization of the government was based on oh yeah, there was a little Russia thing and we may have exaggerated, is bullshit. Listen to me, guys. Capital ITS. Capitalize bullshit and put exclamation points at the end. There was nothing there. I know this isn't a shocker to my P1 listeners, but I want you to understand, even if you're a moderate, you're like, well, there may have been a little something. They made the entire thing up. The entire thing is a fabrication. There was nothing there. It's not just that Justin didn't rob the bank on the corner that got robbed. The bank was never robbed. They're accusing Justin of a bank robbery that never even happened. That's why I was so shocked, because I thought to myself, reading through this document, that there is no possible way that you can run a constitutional republic, a representative democracy, when the people with the guns and the badges, who thankfully we got rid of most of them, I only say most because some people are still probably hiding in there and, probably maybe didn't have a big role, but we got rid of most of them. These people just invented this entire thing. Now, say you don't trust me. You're like, well, I don't trust you, but whatever. I like acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. Todd's great. It's fine. If you don't like me, you're like, you think we're all making this up, that there was nothing there? Here is Todd on with Sean Hannity telling you the exact same thing. This whole thing was literally, not figuratively, made up out of it. That's why Donald Trump and his team in 45, the first administration, were so, I don't want to say unprepared to deal with it. They didn't know because there was nothing there. He didn't know what to respond to. You're connected to Russia. And he's like, wait, what? Watch this. You'll see what I mean.
Let's be honest about it. It worked. They did a good job. I mean, credit due. It was literally made up. And, you hear the president talk about it, and he's talked about it publicly, but that the first time people say there's some issue with Russia, he's like, whatever. No, there's not. I'm not worried about it. Oh, no, sir, there's some Russia stuff. No, it's not true. So I'm not worried about it. And then all of a sudden he realizes, wait a second. What is happening? Russia is literally nothing. So this isn't like I did something, but they're exaggerating my role with Russia, or yes, I have friends there. No, this is literally made up. It is a hoax, and everything that happened with Comey, then what Comey did to force the DOJ to appoint Mueller, and then Mueller gets full reign. He gets a bunch of prosecutors, most of whom who were hated President Trump, to come in, and 2 years go by. They write this long report, but it could have been written in 4 words. This was a hoax.
Guys, ladies, again, you could sit there and engage in the black pill doomerism from people who really have, actually have no idea. They don't know. They're not read into anything. They have no contacts in the government. This is real. There was nothing there. I say that because, again, I'll sometimes, rarely, but sometimes people will reach out from the left-wing media. And I'm trying to develop some type of constructive relationship, even though they're the bad guys, because I just want on the record. I don't believe I'm going to change anybody's mind. I just want to be clear in the left-wing media. It's almost like cultish, Kool-Aid drinking like behavior. But I just want it on the record, if there's going to be a comment, that you lied and made this thing up and there's nothing there. I'm telling you, like, not as a friend, but as someone in this business, that history is not going to be kind to you. When all of this stuff comes out, the criminal cases are done, the things that are happening that people say aren't happening eventually finish up and come to fruition. I hate that word. And there's some closure. I hate that word too, but appropriate here. You're going to look really stupid. There was nothing there, ever. This whole thing was Gestapo-like stormtrooper tactics where just about everyone involved lied on the record and made this thing up. Now, why do I bring this up on a Monday? Because coincidentally, as I was going to discuss this somewhat later in the show, I see this from Axios' morning email. Now, I like to subscribe to, left-wing morning email blasts, Axios and Politico, because I'm not dumb. I want to see what the other side is thinking. And I encourage you to do it too, folks. Don't replicate the mistakes of the left by walling yourself off and not seeing what the other side is saying, because you'll never understand what the other side is thinking and why if you have no idea why or what they're saying. So this was in their morning email at Axios. It was called the Rattle Generation. And before you, I put it up. The premise of it is this. How is it that things are going, this is Axios, by the way, a left-wing outlet that acknowledges things, leave this up. How are things going so well right now, yet there's this dour sense amongst our younger generation, even amongst 30s, 40s, young 50-year-olds too. Man, things are so bad. They say this. That's the rattle generation they're talking about. They say that we're living through this disorienting time. They said almost nobody in a position of power is explaining why. Well, I'm going to now. I'm in power by Mike right now, but that's a power too. They say why it matters. By most objective measures, and keep in mind as I read this, these are not fans of Donald Trump. It's an extraordinary time to be alive. Yes, it is. Americans are wealthier. They're safer. They're longer lived than at any earlier point in U.S. history. U.S. total wealth has soared. Violent crime rates sank to a 20-year low and is still falling. Life expectancy just hit 79 years, the highest in American history. The country produces more energy than ever after 4 straight record years. Hold it before the next one, okay? Digest what I just told you. I know it's hard, but even if you're MAGA, libertarian, conservative, old school Republican, liberal, progressive, or communist, try for a second to put aside your priors and objectively process what Axios is saying here and why this is related to what I just told you about Todd Blanche and my post and the Russia hoax being totally made up. Objectively speaking, even Trump's enemies have had to acknowledge that there has never been a better time to be alive by actual facts and data. Wealth, safety, energy production, longevity, health, medical breakthroughs. There has never been a better time. That's a fact. These are people don't even like him. So why do we have this crop on our side of doomers and the crop on the left swearing the country's marching into totalitarianism and Donald Trump is walking people into the gas chambers? Why? Well, the answer is, I'm going to give you the answer. Axios seems a little confused, but they do kind of get to it a little bit in their next part of this. Folks, faith in institutions has been wiped out. It's why doomerism has exploded on the right too. Nobody trusts anything anymore. And listen to me, before we read the next part of this. Listen to me, please. I get it. This is not some faux sense of I get it. It is genuine and authentic. I get it. I get it. How Pentagon leadership with DEI stuff in the past, the FBI acting like stormtroopers under Biden and Obama, and even under Comey and Wray during Trump 45. How just the DOJ and Merrick Garland and these other buffoons just decimating faith in our system. Nobody believes anything anymore. And even Axios acknowledges this. They say, here's the answer. They say University of Michigan consumer sentiment just hit its lowest reading in a half a century. Weird. It's the most prosperous time to ever be alive. Gallup finds most people think things will only get worse. Trust in every major institution, government, media, organized religion, higher education, science, is at or near record lows. Folks, they answered their own question. And I'm going to make the case to you. And I know it's easy to pawn it off on the other side. I am a partisan. I'm a conservative. However, I tell you as objectively as possible, putting aside my priors, we did not do this. The left did this. We did not go after and try to arrest and civilly, prosecute, Democrat presidents in the past. We didn't impeach Obama 3 times. We didn't stick Obama in a New York City, freezing cold courtroom on a fraud case with no fraud and no victim. We didn't Obama mugshot him first. I'm just telling you, we did not start, as Billy Joel said, we didn't start the fire. You did. And the reason you've got this class of doomers on the left and the right that think it's the worst time to be alive. Everything's collapsing. I can't believe consumer sentiment is down. I can't believe it. This is so awful. Tyranny is right around the corner, is because media people. I tell you, as a colleague in the field, but not an ally, you did this. All you had to do early on was say, hey, this Russia thing and this DEI stuff and this men in the women's bathroom is a little bit out of control. Maybe we should have a more candid, honest conversation about where real America is. And you refused. And the amazing thing is, after getting your political balls kicked into your throat, you're still doubling down. I just saw a story 2 minutes ago on Fox about another dude in women's sports. And there are lefties out there. The guy running for governor in California, Steyer's like, this is great. This guy's a champion. He's cheating and stealing from our women and girls. They cannot dial it back. It explains the explosion in popularity, and I'll get to him in a minute because it's coming up tomorrow. Spencer Pratt in the California primaries. Get out and vote tomorrow. It explains the Spencer Pratt phenomenon in LA. Running as the anti-Democrat. He's not really running as like a big doctrinaire Republican, which is fine. You're not going to win in LA like that. We have to take what we can get. He's running as I'm not the Democrat. And his popularity is exploding. Folks, listen, I've been warning you. The left is the side of radicalism, of tyranny, of authoritarianism. That's why faith in institutions have collapsed. And that's why, despite the fact, as even Axios acknowledges, despite the fact you should thank the Lord, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, I'm not using your name, and thank you every day for making me, creating me, molding us in your image, and allowing me to be alive at this time. But nobody's saying that. Everybody thinks it's the worst time ever because nobody trusts anything anymore. The good news is, I promise you, as even the hardest of hardcore nothing is happening doomers start to see even more happening, because you've seen tons of stuff coming out, the SPLC, the BLM arrest, the Antifa arrest, as you've seen it. You've seen, obviously, the public corruption arrest. There's tons of them. If you don't see it, you're willingly blind. But as more stuff comes out, it's going to be harder and harder to align with that everything is going wrong, doomerism bullshit. That's the good news. If Donald Trump really wasn't doing anything and nothing was happening, I would tell you, hey, man, we got a problem. No, we don't have a problem. The doomers have a problem because they're going to have to continue to lie to people as the W's keep piling up.
It's a data
I'm not
point.
telling you everything. It's a data point. It's a data point. I want to show you what I mean, too, coming up, how the left is the side of just rank radicalism and just deconstructing our Constitution. It's not even open for debate. I want to show you footage from the Michigan Senate debate. They ask a question, Save Act, filibuster, it's all related. The answer is exactly what I said. You want to believe how radical the Democrats are? Don't listen to Dan Bongino. Listen to the Democrats. Quick break, and we'll get back to that. I'll show you exactly what I mean in their own words. We can even use quotations if you like. Hey, this last year opened my eyes to a lot of things, but there's one thing I found particularly disturbing. A lot of the infighting on the right. Well, perfect timing for that. We should all agree on basics: freedom of speech, the right to life, Second Amendment, supporting our military and our great first responders. We got to be focused on these things, not on attacking each other. It's a waste. It's a great time to be alive. I just said that. There's one company that's been fighting with us. They fight with the Christian conservative movement proudly. When cancel culture was at its peak, who was there for all of us? Patriot Mobile. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not asking you to use them as a mobile provider just because they're patriots. That's great. But I'm asking you because they do great service and great work too. The Patriot Mobile service is fantastic. Me and Paula have it. Unlike other mobile providers, Patriot Mobile works on all three major networks. In fact, you can be on multiple networks on the same phone. I can personally vouch. I use it. I used to have one service. I couldn't get service. I didn't get Patriot Mobile. I have them both. Boom. We're good. More importantly, their customers enjoy priority service with the same or better quality as their old providers. Patriot Mobile's 100% US-based customer service team, they make switching fast and easy. Paula switched both of our phones over in 5 minutes or less. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Here's how you do it. Go to patriotmobile.com/Dan. Get a free month of service with the offer code Dan. This company has been fighting for the things we believe in for over a decade. Let's thank Patriot Mobile by making the switch today. patriotmobile.com/Dan. That's patriotmobile.com/Dan. Do it today. Great service. Highly recommended. Today's show also brought to you by Super Sure Insurance. If you're in business, how many brokers does it take to insure your business? It's not a trick question. You know the answer. The answer is way too many. Multiple policies, multiple applications, and really no clear, coherent view of how it all fits together. We were dealing with this. Questions come up. It's not easy to get the clarity you need. Super Sure changes that. One broker for all your business insurance, backed by a team that works with you year-round, not just at renewal. If you've ever stared at a policy and you're saying to yourself, well, what does this policy actually recover? We got a fix for you. Super Sure has a fine print fax tool that translates that legal jargon into actual plain English so you know what's covered and what's not. Kind of important, right? Right now, you can go to supersure.com/Bongino and get a full report on your current policies with no obligation. Find out if you're overinsured, underinsured, or somewhere in between. Go to supersure.com/Bongino. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies, all in one place. Go to supersure.com/Bongino. That's supersure.com/Bongino. Check them out. Consult with a licensed insurance producer to discuss coverage options for your specific business needs. Paid for by Super Sure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency. Thank you, Super Sure. So, folks, this is what I've been talking about. Again, for all you lefty media types who swear there's still an inkling and shred of credibility to the Russia collusion hoax, you are just destroying faith in your institution, not ours. We're the ones that did something about it and been calling this out forever. To also the lefties in the media who are unwilling to say that the real party of tyranny and authoritarianism is the left, I encourage you to watch this clip right here and explain this away. Whether you love or hate the filibuster, it has been a Senate institution for a long time. For those at home, a lot of the liberals who don't understand what the filibuster is, it is a 60-vote threshold on the Senate side. The Senate has 100 seats, 2 from every state, obviously. Unlike the House, which has a simple majority to get a piece passed, a piece of legislation, the Senate has to overcome the filibuster. You used to have to talk all, that was the filibuster. You used to have to talk. Now you just say, I'm in a filibuster, basically, and everything gets shut down. So a simple majority does not work in the Senate. But it's been around for a really long time. The Republicans weren't the first ones to say we need to dump this thing. It was the Democrats. And who stopped them? I'll get to that in a second. But 2 Democrat senators. And I'm going to tell you why that's important. This new crop of people running for the Senate are unbelievably bad and radical on the Democrat side. Nazi tattoo guy, this guy Abdul al-Sayed in Michigan. Here they are in the Michigan Senate debate. They asked the Democrat candidates, hey, man, what about the filibuster? So I encourage Republicans to watch this too in the Senate. Because I've told you, you've got to change the rules now to dump the filibuster because the Democrats are going to do it. And there are still people saying, no, they're not going to do it. Okay, just listen to the Democrats. Check this out.
So I believe we have to abolish the filibuster. We have to expose senators to democracy again so that they have to answer to their voting public about why they took a particular vote.
We have to get rid of the filibuster. We are at a place where too often Democrats are protecting Republicans from their own bad decisions.
The filibuster is no longer serving the people of Michigan. When our voting rights are under attack, when we are on the eve of seeing a black man for the first time in the history of this country become the speaker, and they are erasing seats held by African American men in the South, that is wrong. The filibuster must go. The filibuster must go so that we can codify health care.
Don't, folks, even if you're in the chat and your thing is like, I'm thinking about putting up a billboard one day, like, I hate Dan Bongino. Check out why. I swear, I think about it all the time. Because we get so many liberals who hate me out there. And the reason they hate me is because we use their own words, just like we did when I wrote those books about Spygate and the Russia hoax. Don't even read the books. Read the footnotes. The footnotes are all from left-wing sources who really told people this was real. There's Republicans. Dan, stop talking about that. We got to keep the filibuster. It's a way to keep the temperature down in the Senate. Okay, explain to me in game theory, though, why it's smart to let your opponent strike first on the battlefield, like it's like the Battle of Agincourt, like the 100 Years' War with the longbows. Why is that? Why wouldn't you defend against it or release your longbows first or get Joan of Arc out there? Why wouldn't you do that? Why are you waiting for them to kill you first? I can't understand this. Folks, the only thing that stopped the Democrats from shelving the filibuster and passing all kinds of radical crap with 51 instead of 60 votes were two Democrat senators. One was, they said they were independent, but they caucused with the Democrats, so forget, they ran as Democrats too. Now, guys, what happened? Let's go to let's change up AI. Let's try Gemini, just so, again, we're not accused of like any right-wing bias. Let's go to a left-wing AI. What happened to Joe Manchin from West Virginia, and Kirsten Sinema and the filibuster from Arizona? Manchin, what are you typing in? Filibuster, Sinema, no caps, of course. And what do they get? Former Senator Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema famously acted as primary defenders of the Senate filibuster, joining Republicans to block their own party's attempt to alter the 60-vote threshold. Now, you may say, wow, Dan, that's great. You've got two Democrats / independents, but Democrats, who blocked dumping the filibuster. They're not there anymore. Sinema and Manchin are not in the Senate. The reason I put that after the Abdul El Sayed, Mallory McMorrow, Michigan Senate debate is because this crop of freaks on the Democrat side, Nazi tattoo platter, Talafrico six genders guy, and Abdul El Sayed, I'm buddies with Hassan Piker, who get the most disgusting 9/11 comments you've ever seen, is because you really think they're going to stop from dumping the filibuster if they take control of the Senate? Seriously, are you smoking crack? Are you doing like magic mushrooms before the show? Why would you believe that? They are going to scrap the freaking filibuster. I saw this gem on X last week. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is doing a bang-up job, but he was a great host at Fox. We were colleagues for a long time and friends. Love Pete. Pete had Talafrico on years ago when he was the Fox and Friends guy. Talafrico. Listen to Talafrico, who's running for Senate in Texas now, because this guy has not changed his stripes at all. Talking about, I don't like voter ID and all this stuff. You really believe this guy, if he were to win in Texas over Ken Paxton, is going to protect the filibuster? Dude, are you shitting me? They're already on the record, even in Texas, saying, Texans don't like voter. Texans don't like voter ID. That's like saying Texans don't like six-shooters and barbecue. Like, are you crazy? Again, if you like OD'd on gummies or something, check this gem out with Pete and Talafrico. This is great.
Are you okay with voter ID?
So voter ID is currently required in the state of Texas. I opposed having to
How about
have
for
a driver's
mail-in
license
ballots?
to vote.
How about having to send your ballot in? Should you have to prove who
Sorry,
you are? Because that's
Pete,
what Democrats are opposing.
Pete, I just said I oppose voter ID. Currently, it's a law in Texas, but I oppose that law because I think you don't need
oppose voter ID? You don't think the most sacred obligation of our republic, you should have to prove who you are in order to vote?
So there are a lot of Texans, actually hundreds of thousands, who don't have a driver's license, who don't drive
who
at
can't,
all.
Do they have a social security number? Because according to this Republican law, you can put your last 4 digits of your social security number in as proof of who you are. Did they not? No, help me out. Do those people not have social security numbers? And who are these people that can't get IDs?
So, Pete, if you're talking about the bill that we're currently focused on, not past Texas law, what this bill is going to do is not only reduce voting hours, it's also going to empower these partisan poll watchers who are going to look over voters' shoulders and prevent them from exercising their God-given right.
You mean the ones that weren't allowed in certain states at certain times in certain places, whether you agree with that or not? So Texas says maybe we should have partisan poll watchers on either side, Republicans and Democrats, right? It wouldn't just be Republicans.
Do you remember a second ago when I talked about the big lie? This is exactly what I'm talking about. And the reason that so many folks believe in this country is because folks like you get on television, James, every night and
say
repeat
you don't
the lie
want
over
voter
and over
ID.
again.
We're not talking about that. You just went on national television and said you don't want voter ID, revealing exactly what Democrats. And it's so condescending to say that people can't get identification.
I think that was a hat tip to Overton News for pulling that. Forgive me. Hat tips are important. They put together the work on that. Folks, that's the new crop of candidates the Democrats are running. So even if you are a diehard establishment Republican senator, a guy who's an institutionalist, an old like John McCain type waiting for a better tomorrow or the halcyon days to come back or whatever, they're not coming back. Do you remember the movie Sum of All Fears when the Russians hit us and they're debating whether to hit back? And the guy's like, there shouldn't be a first. He's like, there already been a first strike. There's already been a first strike. They've already tried to dump the filibuster. They were saved from themselves by 2 Democrats in the Senate, Sinema and Manchin, who are not there. And the crop of candidates, Talafrico, Abdul Al-Sayed, or whatever his name, McMorrow, and the other ones, Plattner Nazi tattoo guy, are even crazier than the people that left. There's already been a first strike. What are you waiting for? Now, folks, I promise you, let's hope they don't win the Senate back in the midterm. Get out and vote 10, 10, and 10. Bring 10 people with you, send 10 emails, make 10 social media posts, and call 10 people and tell them how to vote. It's mandatory. You got to do it. 10, 10, and 10, and we'll be okay. You don't do it, you don't show up, we'll lose. It's that simple. It's just a spreadsheet. Don't show up and vote, we lose. If we hold the Senate, great. If we do not, and they take 51 seats, because 50 would be a tiebreaker, the vice president, J.D. Vance, not going to vote with the Democrats. If they get 51 seats, the filibuster's finished. It is done. I promise you it is done. They are going to wipe it off the face of the earth, and you are going to see stuff come out of the Senate. And if they take the House too, that is the most radical, crazy crap you have ever heard. Now, I'm telling you this now, and screen grab this one too. When they do it, they are going to package this, scrap the filibuster, Puerto Rico, D.C. is a state, pack the Supreme Court. They're going to package it under the banner of what? What are we fighting? Come on, you know. Chat, where are we going with this? What is going to be the main message of why they're doing it? You are correct. It's going to be to fight the racist Donald Trump, the racist Supreme Court, the racist U.S. Senate, which is ironic because the filibuster in many ways was established to combat de facto and de jure racism. It doesn't matter. Racist. Flags in the chat. Flags in the chat. Flag it. Oh, Judy, audience archivist, make sure you got this on file. Flag it. That's right. They are going to come out if they win the Senate and say, we are going to move on scrapping the filibuster because it is a relic of racism. Justin, remember it. Andy, Guy, all of you. Because when it happens, I want this exact segment because I'm so sure it's going to happen. Because that's all they have. They don't have an actual argument. That's not even true. It's nonsense, just made up. There's nothing to explain, like we're fighting the racist filibuster. I'd love to try to explain what causal or correlational reference you're going to make between racism and a filibuster. They can't. They're just going to make it up. Why? Because when it comes to BS bullshit charges of racism, they make it all up. Here, you doubt me? The chat, I know we're killing the chat today. Only we can do this, by the way. I'm serious. I've had tech people tell me, they're like, you guys in your audience are the most engaged chatters in a live stream we have on the platform. So only we can light up and light the chat on fire. But it's good because even little tiny bugs, we can pick them out and make the experience better. We used to shut down the chat every day. Remember when we first live streamed? Remember that one show we had like 375,000? The chat was going so fast. I think like the actual computer went on fire. Luckily, we had a fire extinguisher. I'm kidding. Oh, by the way, before I go, I'm going to show you Al Sharpton. A piece of good news. Congratulations to Evita Duffy. You all remember Evita from the show. Evita had her baby with Michael. Michael worked here too. Michael's running for Congress. So big congratulations to you all. Beautiful baby. You know, they're big family folks. You know, Rachel and Sean, they have 9 children. Evita's got 8 siblings, I think. But big congratulations. I don't want to neglect that. Okay, here's what I mean. They are going to falsely impugn the filibuster, which I think is a relic, but it's nothing to do with racism because they'll make it up about anything. Here is Al Sharpton on MSDNC here. Al Sharpton makes the connection. I'm not kidding. I hate playing videos of this idiot. He makes a connection between UFOs and racism. Like UFOs. He doesn't mean UFOs. Al Sharpton's too stupid. Just listen to the clip or watch the clip and you'll see exactly what I mean. Check this out.
When we're dealing with this redistricting, Trump and others are trying to bring us back to an America that we struggle to get out of. So there is a connection of why they're having these fights on the White House lawn, the UFO and all whatever they call it, UFC, and all that, because they're trying to go back to that when they'd watch people have these fights for the slave masters and they'd be entertained by that. They're literally going back to that.
Now do you see why I hate the word literally? Literally. The UFO, the UFC, holy Moses. How do people keep falling for this guy's shtick? Guys, ladies, I sadly grew up with this guy. Not grew up like he was my neighbor, but Al Sharpton was like a parochial New York City figure before MSDNC gave him a show on the network where he couldn't even pronounce a word. You ever go through that video of Al Sharpton flubbing words? It's hilarious. It goes on forever. It is just comical. Al Sharpton is an imbecile. I'm telling you, like if you ever have a conversation with him, he is a moron. Ask anyone who knows them. I don't even care if they're a liberal. Put like a beer in them or some truth serum, and they will. I'm telling you, they will tell you what an idiot this guy is. The UFC or UFOs is racist because they're watching the slave masters. What the are you even talking about? They are going to do the same thing with the filibuster because they don't have an agenda. They legit do not have an agenda. Their agenda is chaos. And this is why I still have hope for the midterms and I still have hope for 2028 because I have not seen a Democrat Party without a self-correcting mechanism like this in my lifetime. I haven't. The Democrats they've done this a lot. They stray far left, they get their ass kicked, they come back. Folks, please look this up. I'll give you some homework. People hate homework. You don't believe me? Fine. Look up what is it, Democrat Leadership Committee or Council. After they got smoked with Walter Mondale, Ronald Reagan wins the second term, just obliterates Jimmy Carter, and re-election destroys Walter Mondale, Fritz Mondale, who runs on this, I'm going to raise your taxes, like he was Bernie Sanders before Bernie Sanders. Ronald Reagan won 49 states. The Democrats had a self-correcting mechanism because they didn't want to keep losing. They start the DLC. They start moving back to the center. They run a candidate. The guy's name is Bill Clinton. He's a Southern governor. He runs a crazy liberal first term. Second term, he comes around, gives a speech about how the era of big government is over, leaves with high approval. They had a correcting mechanism. The correcting mechanism is gone. AOC, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren, they basically control the Democrat Party primary process now. They will not let the party self-correct. So they keep going down to this like rabbit hole of crazy leftism. And that's why you see this rebound effect of people like Spencer Pratt in Los Angeles, who again is not running as like, I'm a big MAGA guy or Republican guy. He understands that's probably not an LA message, but he's running tactically. And again, I don't know Spencer. I never met him. He's running as I'm not these crazy people who are running on a chaos message. Like, we love Antifa. We love BLM. Like, he understands that never sells. Crackheads in the street, the fentanyl flop. The left does not get it because they can't self-correct. They could stop Spencer Pratt tomorrow. I kid you not. Dan, don't give him advice. No, stop. They're not going to listen anyway. The crazy socialist running and Mayor Karen Bass in LA could stop Spencer Pratt tomorrow. All they have to do is come out and say, hey, we're done with the chaos in the streets, law and order. We're going to go back to broken windows policing. Bill Bratton was a police chief out there. We're going to fix the city. They won't do it. They won't because they can't. They can't. That's why I'm warning you against this party on a national stage. They are never going to self-correct. Here's Pratt on Gutfeld talking about how, hey, man, I don't even want endorsements. Celebrities, nobody. I don't want it. I just want to kind of run as like the anti-those guys. Smart. And he's got a decent shot. You got to show up and vote tomorrow. Check this out.
You have celebrities that are now coming out in support of you, but they will deny it, won't they? Leo DiCaprio, Jamie Foxx?
You know, what I've learned is I actually don't want celebrities to come out and endorse me. I don't want anybody to endorse me except for the moms and the animal lovers in LA. That's my entire vote.
Yeah.
Because that's, so I'm cool if no celebrity ever endorses me. I actually love when the celebrities attack me because then I'm like, oh, I'm doing so well.
But I mean, DiCaprio. Did it happen?
It did. That was,
yeah.
I love Titanic. It was a great movie.
That's Overton News. So good site there. He's right. He doesn't want or need celebrity endorsements because he's running a very tactically smart race, which is whatever the Democrats are running on in blue cities and blue states. We love chaos. We love riots at the New Jersey ICE facility. We love BLM, mostly peaceful, burning down the city rallies. He knows it's a freaking loser. And so does everyone else in America. Why did the Democrats not change? They'd rather lose? Yes. No, they wouldn't. Yes, they would. I'm telling you, they can stop this guy tomorrow. It's too late. It's too late. The primary's tomorrow. It is going to be, if he winds up becoming the next LA mayor and Steve Hilton becomes the governor, the Republican running, and Chad Bianco's running too, be fair. If they win in California, it is not because Republicans elected them. There's no numbers for that. It's because Democrats, even Democrats in blue cities, hate needles in the street, their kids being raped and murdered, drug dealers, fentanyl floppers. They hate it. No, they don't. Yes, they do. I'm going to prove it to you coming right up. Do not go anywhere. I'm going to show you irrefutable proof that in one of the most liberal places in America, when chaos takes over that the Democrats cannot and will not escape from, they could renounce it tomorrow. They won't. They lose. They may not lose right away, but they lose over time, every time. I got the receipts coming up last break. Hey, with summer right around the corner, been focused on staying cool and comfortable at night and actually getting quality sleep. The greatest life hack of all, sleep. Trust your buddy Dan. It's what led me to Helix. I've slept on a Helix mattress for close to 10 years now. HELIX. It's unbelievably comfortable. I switched to their Midnight Lux. Best sleep I've ever had. My sleep tracker proves it. Receipts matter. I used to wake up sore, overheated. I wake up a lot too, tossing all night. This Helix mattress, I have the Midnight Lux for me, changed all of that. I took their sleep quiz. I got matched to that model based on my sleep style. It's been a total game changer. Sleep. Ultimate life hack, can't say it enough. The cooling upgrade's been huge too. Your body has to cool down to fall asleep. You can look all that stuff up, especially with warmer nights coming up. I live in Florida. You can't sleep when you're hot. I'm not waking up hot, flipping the pillow every hour anymore. Even my sleep tracker shows that deeper sleep, getting more REM sleep too, fewer wake-ups, and I feel it during the day. Got to be sharp during the show. You can't be screwing around. People tune in. They want to see you sharp. I want to see you all groggy whining. The whole process was easy. Helix mattresses, free shipping, showed up at my door. Setup took minutes, super easy. Plus, you get a 120-night sleep trial and a limited lifetime warranty, so there's no pressure. It's just a solid upgrade all around. Feel better. Go to helixsleep.com/Dan for 20% off site-wide, HELIX. That's helixsleep.com/Dan for 20% off site-wide, helixsleep.com/Dan. Thanks, Helix Sleep. Get an upgrade. Here's what I mean. Not what I mean about the mattress. Here's what I mean about the chaos message. They absolutely cannot get away from. They're going to continue to double down on riots at ICE facilities, BLM-type riots, the CHOP zone, because they really believe amongst this core of crazy communist lunatics that, here's the easiest way to describe it. Why do they do that, Dan? Why do they like this Fox News clips I'm going to play for you in a second of riots and all this stuff? Why do the hardcore AOC, Bernie Sanders, Liz Warren people like this? Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is very simple. Listen good, ring that bell. They're revolutionaries at heart. They are tyrannical revolutionaries at heart. They think they're fighting the man. The irony of this whole thing is these riots, whether it was BLM, Oregon, the ICE facility, or the federal courthouse, the ICE facility in New Jersey, what do those things have in common? The CHOP zone? The man running those cities and states were Democrats. They were blue areas. They're blue areas. So if you're fighting the man is you. You think people are stupid? Does the governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill, who ran as like a fake moderate like Spamberger in Virginia, do you really believe your voters are stupid? You think chaos sells? I'm going to show you this Fox clip. This is all over. It's all over social media, TikTok, X, Snapchat, Fox News. Even CNN was forced to cover it. You really believe in New Jersey, people seeing this around the country, that beating the shit out of ICE agents, that these riots are a sales pitch? The answer is, yeah, they do. Check this out.
That's just some of what we saw last night, and it's at least maybe 24 arrests and counting. Authorities used tear gas to clear the crowd, while DHS tells Fox there's zero tolerance for rioters here. And they finally have that extra assistance. They kept calling for the Newark police, the state police. Well, now they finally have some backup. Police took over the security operations there outside of Delaney Hall's ICE facility after more than a week of chaos. Video there shows protesters starting fires in the road. I mean, just look at this. I was looking at it over the weekend on X and thinking, what is going on? They started this big blaze there with all this trash that was in the road. They were shoving the fences back as officers tried to move in and stop the crowd from moving in toward the Delaney Hall ICE detention facility. Because of that violence, family visits to the facility for the migrants inside were paused.
Folks, this is not going to stop. These radical leftist revolutionary Antifa types, which are there's a full investigation going on now. It's not a secret. Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, was talking about it. The FBI, when we were there and after I left, has already made a number of Antifa arrests. Again, nothing's happening. Just put it in your favorite search engine. I don't even care what it is. Just put it in there and look it up. Nothing's happening. Oh, well, it did happen. I kind of made that. I know you made it up. However, as I've said to you often, there are not enough federal agents in DHS and DOJ, between DEA, FBI, everything, all the ATF, Bureau of Prisons. There is not enough to arrest every single one of these people at a facility without leaving the facility abandoned. You need the state and locals. The state and locals, the New Jersey governor's like, let them riot. Now all of a sudden, when you let them riot, she realized the revolutionaries riot even more, which I could have told you about a week ago. And now all of a sudden she's trying to play tough. Mikey Sherrill, the governor of New Jersey. Oh, we got a curfew now. Oh, bullshit. No, you could have stopped this a week ago. You could have applied the greatest mayor in the history of this country, Rudy Giuliani's Giuliani theory of rioting. Anybody know what it is? Folks in the chat, if you're a P1, you may know. If you do, I'll be quite impressed. Justin, if anybody finds it, let me know. What's the Giuliani theory of rioting? Here it is. I was a police officer late in Giuliani's second term, Rudy Giuliani, or cadet, I should say, and then police officer as he rolled over afterwards to Bloomberg. The Giuliani theory is this. A rioter shows up with a frozen water bottle or a brick, throws the brick. What happens to that rioter? He goes to jail. This doesn't sound complicated. Mikey Sherrill, I know it doesn't. Maybe you should listen. I'm really trying to help because I don't want to see people hurt. No, sincerely. The second person throws a brick at a riot in New York City in the Giuliani era. What happens to him? He goes to jail too. Here's the denouement. What happens to the third person? There isn't a third person because the first two went to jail. Dan, that doesn't sound complicated. That's because it's not, bro. That's why Rudy Giuliani had a very safe, civil New York. Now, the Democrats could run on this message. They can also run on their, big, we're going to tax the shit out of you and all this stuff. That probably does sell even with moderate Democrats. Moderate Democrats do not want to get mugged, raped, or their homes invaded. They just don't. This should serve as like a wake-up call to Democrats. Arrest of it. Yes, Reddington 19 in the chat. There you go, Reddington. Man or woman, we love you. Thank you, Reddington 19. You called it. That is a hardcore P1 right there. You don't believe me that the Democrats are digging their own political graves with this chaos message? This is why I'm not losing hope in 2028 or coming up in the midterm election. I'm not losing hope because chaos never sells. Put up, if you would, guys, 1989's New York City mayoral election. I know. I was a teenager in New York when it went down. You'd be like, Giuliani won that one, right? No. What do you mean no? No, he didn't. 1989, look, there were the results. New York City mayoral election. David Dinkins, the liberal Democrat, affectionately known as Stinkins in New York because he was awful. He runs against Rudy Giuliani, and he wins 50 to 47.8. So Giuliani effectively loses the mayoral race by just 2 points. Despite the Democrat to Republican ratio in New York City, probably 9 or 10 Democrats to 1 Republican, Giuliani almost wins. And you say, Dan, I thought you said chaos doesn't sell. Well, Stinkins gets in office because he won in 89. And after that, he went from Dinkins to Stinkins because the Crown Heights riots and other things happened. The city, just like you're seeing at the ICE facility, is burning down. The economy sucks. Companies are leaving. Dinkins is like a communist before communists like Mamdani were even born. So Giuliani decides he's going to run again. And he says, I'm running on law and order. Even in New York City, I am running on law and order because chaos doesn't sell. So what happens in 1993? Well, Justin says, I've got that for you. You do? Thank you. Giuliani wins. He beats Stinkins by the exact margin he lost by. He wins by 2 points, lost by 2 points 4 years earlier. How? It was like 10, 11 to 1, Democrats to Republican. The answer is because amongst sane Democrats, they don't want their kids stepping on needles, getting raped, robbed, or murdered. It's just not freaking hard. Democrats, I'm telling you now, Mikey, Cheryl, you think this stuff sells. It does not. But that is not the actual moral to the story here. Yeah, Danny won. No, that's not the moral of the story. The moral of the story is what happened 4 years later when Rudy Giuliani was up for re-election. Because the Democrats will tell you, oh, that was just an aberration. The Democrats in New York just lost their minds. It was like Scarecrow in the Batman movie puts the mass hallucinogenic in the Gotham water supply and everybody just went crazy. So if they went crazy, surely Justin said they corrected it, right? 1997. And they said, we've definitely had enough of these law and order Republicans in a 10 to 1 Democrat to Republican New York City. That's not what happened. It's not? No, it isn't. 1997, New York City mayoral election. Rudy Giuliani runs against another communist, Ruth Messenger. That can't be right. Rudy Giuliani got 57.7% of the vote, and communist Messenger got 40. So you're telling me he won re-election by 17 points in a city that's 10 to 1 Democrat to Republican, running on law and order. I'm not telling you that. The New York City voters told you that. Folks, the Democrats could fix this all today. They could fix this all today. Karen Crazy Bass, the Los Angeles mayor, could come out today. This is my point. Stop giving them. They're crazy. They are not going to do anything we tell. They are nuts. She could come out today and say, I've had enough the votes tomorrow. Spencer Pratt is right. Law and order is on the agenda. We're going to hire more police. We're going to get the fentanyl floppers in treatment or in jail. Rapists, murderers, illegals, you're out of the city. I'm telling you, she'd win. She can't do it. She can't do it because the party is freaking crazy when it comes to the filibuster, packing the Supreme Court, grotesque gerrymandering, wars against ICE, the FBI, local police departments, the military, men in the women's room, men's penises hanging out in the women's room. They cannot stop. They won't stop. They can't stop. The party is totally, completely lost. You have one choice and one choice only, which is vote against them. Why am I saying vote against them? Notice I didn't say vote for the Republicans. Notice that because I'm talking to some Democrats. Republicans were going to vote Republican. Our MAGA crowd's loyal. We get it. To the Democrats out there who are supporting Spencer Pratt and voted for Giuliani, you didn't vote for the Republican. You voted against chaos. If that's what it takes for you to bring sanity back to your city, I'm giving you a strong piece of advice that now's the time to do it. Because once the city gets bad enough, like New York City did under David Stinkins, with 2,000 homicides a year in the city, there's going to be a mass revolt and you're going to lose the whole place. Zero doubt. Zero. You know, I love the Maha moments too. I am a big health hacker. We've had some health hacking guests. One of the guests on the show we've had in the past is Dr. Rhonda Patrick. Folks, some of you love these segments. We get a lot of positive feedback. Some of you I like the politics. We do a lot of politics. However, I can't, in good faith, do a show without at least spending a couple times a week, a couple minutes or not, passing on to you health tips and habits that I use to stay alive. I'm dealing with a lot of, I'm always in fear of this cancer recurrence. He's like, you live your whole life, whatever. Where it changed my whole outlook. You don't want to know what your expiration date is. This past weekend was a sad reminder. Some of you may notice the semi-cryptic tweets, but man, it can go away like that. Stay alive no matter what. Remember the last of Mohegans? Stay alive no matter what. We will find you. The Dan Bongino army will find you, but you got to stay alive. Here's Dr. Rhonda Patrick. Quick hit here on the dangers of sitting. Folks, I kid you not. If you're sitting 12 hours a day, you are just writing your own expiration date. You're speeding up. You got to get up and move around. We do our 100 air squats. It's mandatory for the show. Everybody does them during the day. Move around, get around, walk around, take a walk. You got to get up and move around. The body was designed to move. Check this out.
Have to admit, I'm selfishly interested in desk ergonomics and optimizing that because I have a standing desk and yet I'm sitting the whole time that I'm working at that desk.
Let's define the problem, right? It's not sitting is bad, standing is good, right? We're designed to be in motion throughout the rest of the day. So Harvard defines sedentary lifestyle as sitting more than 6 hours a day in aggregate. I think the problem with just sitting is that we don't have a lot of movement choice here. But what we can start to ask is, are there opportunities where we can break up that sitting into optional, non-optional sitting? Because remember, the goal is just to move more. So we say it's not a standing workstation until you have a place to put your foot to get you out of this extension. So you need a stack or something. And two, I want you to have a bar stool so that you can sit down, you can perch, you can lean, you can use it as a prop, you can put your foot on it, you can do half pigeon pose on it, right? And all of a sudden you're like, wow, there's a lot of movement choice.
You got to get up and move around. Trust your brother Dan. I am trying desperately to stay alive. And if you get a scare like I did where someone comes to you and goes, you've got a deadly disease that could kill you in 5 years, it'll scare the hell out of you. I remember coming back, I had this tumor taken out of my neck. And I'm reading on the plane, I had stage 1 Hodgkin's lymphoma, right? And I read, that is an 80% survival rate over 5 years. And I remember thinking, I bet people think that's a good thing. I didn't read it that way. I read it as you got a 20% chance of dying in 5 years. I was like, this sucks. Stay alive, no matter what. Daniel Day-Lewis will find, he will find you. What are you laughing about? I laugh about because you can't live your whole life like that, but you do have to, you please stay healthy. I'm going to start a new segment. The guys didn't have enough time today because I threw this on the show later on at the last minute. But folks, I love comedy, especially conservative comedy. Liberal comics, I can't stand. It's just not funny. Conservative comedians who find humor in everything, I find hilarious. So I like to highlight some of their work. So because we started the show with Essence of Joe Biden and it's Monday, I did want to end the show with a little bit of comedy as well. What's this guy's name? Is it Rocky Dale Davis? Is that his name? This guy? You ever heard of this guy? I find these little bits. This one is hilarious about why he doesn't make jokes about liberals. Because they're not funny. They are never funny. This is some epic stuff. Check this out.
I don't do liberal jokes at all, so you're good. Don't worry. I don't touch y'all, because y'all are not fucking fun, dude. Y'all are not fun. Some of y'all are mad I just said you're not fun, okay? Like, I don't make fun of y'all, because y'all are sad a lot, too, and I feel bad. I don't know. Y'all like to be sad, I think. I have a buddy up here. I invited him out. I was like, you want to come out tonight? He's like, I can't, man. Everything going on in the world, it's just hard to even get out of bed. I was like, your dad pays your rent. Like, it's hard to get out of bed because you're in a Tempur-Pedic, brother, okay? You know? $9,000 mattress.
Motley's in the chat to end the show today. Tear it up with a few Mutaruskis. Rocky Dale Davis, hilarious. Because it's true. Why is comedy funny, by the way? Comedy's only funny when there's an element of truth to it. That's why people rarely make jokes about, like, you know, things that didn't happen, because it's not really funny. Like, if there's an element of truth, there you go. Motley's in the chat. Stuff is funny because there's an element of truth that's hyperbolically layered on with humor, and you exaggerate the effect of it. That is not an exaggeration. Liberals are just not funny. Nothing to them is funny ever. Everything. I'll give you a perfect example. They do that roast of Kevin Hart, the comedian. I think it was Kevin Hart got the roast, right? They do the roast, and the guy from Tony, I Killed Tony, whatever. The humor was risque humor, but it's a freaking joke. All these commentators, I can't believe how misogynist and racist. Oh, it's humor, you dumbasses. And it was all the liberals, all the conservatives out there who, by the way, don't even like half of these comedians. I'm not talking about so we're like, let them tell a joke, you dumb. They no humor in their lives at all. Miserable freaking existence. Remember the immortal words told to Walter Williams by Milton Friedman. When you talk about liberty, talk about it with a smile. So I'll end today's show with a smile. By the way, we got a stacked, loaded guest lineup this week. Loaded. We've got, if I miss one, guys, let me know. We got tomorrow's GadSad, right? Wednesday is Vince, of course, Vince Collins. Thursday is Catalina Lauf, right? Running for Congress in Florida. Friday, Sebastian Gorka, counterterrorism advisor, President Trump. Yes, I got loaded lineup this week. I'm trying to bring you the best guests out there. So we got a lot to talk about the rest of the week. And I will be on Jesse Waters' show tonight if you want to check that out on Fox. Check out Haley at noon, rumble.com/Haley. You're going to love her show, Hayley. Also, every day at 8 a.m., Vince Colin Ace dominates the mornings on Rumble, rumble.com/Vince. And of course, download the Rumble app. It is free. We would really appreciate it. It costs you nothing. You can even download the Rumble app on your smart TV for free. Watch the show on TV. It's great. Download the Rumble app, or you can even go to the web, rumble.com/Bongino. Just click that follow button. You'll get a notification. Join the Bongino Army every day. Fill that stadium like we do every day, full of live streamers. We really appreciate your support of the show, folks. I will see you back here tomorrow.
I'm Haley Carania,
host of Vince,
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report,
live 8 a.m. Eastern weekday mornings,
weekdays at noon. If you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
right here
and anywhere you find a podcast. Thanks for watching.